Very well, it's time for Perspective, and joining me now in studio we have with us David Matsanga, who is a political strategist and activist. Our topic of discussion this evening, the ongoing row between Kenya and Somalia over the maritime border. And that is what we will be looking at, as well as other politics that have been shaping the day. But let's begin with that particular row between Kenya and Somalia. And we have the ongoing case. In terms of what really do we stand to lose? Should we lose this case? What are we looking at?
We stand to create insecurity in the region if the case goes through the court. I appeal to Somalia and Kenya to withdraw this case. Under Article 35 of the statute, Kenya was not consulted at all. You need a consent. This is not a criminal court. And I repeat, the Attorney General should be watching this program.
Yes.
Because they should not be lying to the president. This is not a criminal court. This is a court of consent.
Why
so Kenya should not have taken itself to the butchery to be slaughtered by a butcher. The butcher is the Somali judge who is there, presiding judge. And he was a deputy. He arranged this case. He manufactured it. He brought it up to where it is. Now, why do you, as an Attorney General of a country or Solicitor General of a country, get your briefcase and go there to do what? First, protest.
So are you saying Kenya should not have gone to the court?
No, the protest, they should have protested, my dear sister.
But the minute it went to court, did it become a legal case now?
But still we have
article,
and let me tell lawyers here who are misleading, you have Article 35, which says you can make a declaration now and say, there is constitutive measures in the AU. We want to go for arbitration rather than ruling and so on. The ruling will kill my brothers. Why I'm involved in this case?
Yes.
I'm protecting my brothers in Kismayo and Amisom. Uganda has 13,000 troops. These are my younger men. They are there. They are not Museveni's younger men only. Some of us are brothers. Some of us have cousins, nephews in there. If you make a ruling about this whole thing, how will Kenya and Somalia live for centuries to come? Will they not look at each other?
By the time Somalia decided to take this particular case to the ICJ, does it mean that Kenya and Somalia could not agree on something outside of a legal process?
That's why the article comes in, consent. You must ask Kenya, can we go? Kenya can say no. Even right now, Kenya can say, excuse me, I am not coming here because of ABCD, and write to the Secretary General of the United Nations. Why are you flying there to do what? To present yourself to the butcher to cut you. The butcher there is the presiding judge. And I'm happy I intervened in 1 month, spell of 1 month. I made the whole court in a confusion. Complaints are allowed. You can't put amicus curiae. This is a court where there is no appeal chamber, where there is no lower chamber, where there is no appeal. Once they make a decision, your land is taken.
When did we get to this point where we began fighting for this particular, the border that we are talking about, the waters?
The man in Mogadishu is not a very good guy. He's a puppet, fronted by Western powers. And for me, if you have called me on this program, I speak frankly. Turkey, Qatar, France. You hear them? United States of America. These are countries that are fueling the conflict.
Can you verify that?
Yes. Look at what Turkey is doing. Turkey is arming America, the Somalis against the United Nations Security Council arms embargo. You are giving Somalia 18 jet fighters of latest model to do what? To protect the sea. Norway is interested in the oil the blocks in the ocean. Norway is linked to the Prime Minister of Somalia. And these are things that the government of Kenya and the Foreign Minister of Kenya, but Dr. Monica, should be speaking to the world.
So what is their interest? Is it the oil deposits?
Yes, and not oil deposits. They are paying money. They are pumping money. They want to own Somalia after Kenya and Uganda have died We have died. American foreign policy, one of the departments of foreign policy of America is they allow Africans to die, then they come and they build a very good, safest embassy in Somalia. You notice that when the French lost oil in South Sudan, where did the French go? They came here, they said they want Gamia something in the Taro Oil said no. Where did they end? Have you ever asked? The Qatars are fronted by the French. Qatar doesn't have a drilling company. It is the French that drill the oil in Qatar. They are buying, they want those oil blocks. They are paying Somalia. Who pays Somalia's fees? Somalia has no bank. No. Where is the bank in Somalia?
So you're saying this is a battle for the resources?
Yes.
So how do we fight this in terms of, because this is a legal procedure that is ongoing, but you are introducing, you know, what you'd say politics in the whole dynamic.
It is politics.
Yes.
There is no legal, can I tell you the truth? There's no legal route there. The legal route there, we shall come back crying. We need international activism. We need to talk about what is it that the court is doing. You see, what has the court failed to do? And how can you allow a Somali judge? Where does the Somali judge first heart belong to? If he's on the panel, is he going to say Kenya is right? Surely, tell me.
By the time we were going, you know, to the ICJ, had we not done, you know, that background check of what you're intimating to?
I don't know. They kept this case quiet to them, and the president should know that. They kept it to themselves. I've just come in this case from 30th of August when I filed the complaints, 9 good complaints, not talking in the pork joints and the meat joints, serious evidence where the judge has been talking about a greater Somalia.
So what did you file in court?
Point number one,
yes.
He talked about the case outside. He addressed George Soros' conference in Djibouti and told the entire press that Somalia must be great. Kenya has to come to court and the decision of the court is final. You don't do that. 2, the judge himself, through the conscience, he's a Somali national. He should have just walked away before Matsanga pushes him out.
So he should have withdrawn from the case?
The case. 3, the judge has been corruptly picking money from Turkey. I picked bank statements of the judge. I have forwarded them to the registry. He has a house in Turkey. He has a house in Djibouti. He has a house in Qatar. Who has paid for these houses? I've done the research. I've given to the registry. It is up to them. 2, I went to London to serious fraud department. That's what they call international, you know, activism. I opened the case. I want the case for the oil. Who paid Soma Oil and the Company Limited? The money could have ended in the terrorist hands. The Prime Minister, current Prime Minister of Somalia,
yes,
was a member of Norwegian Aid Fund. He was the director of Norway Refugee Council. You remember people who were abducted in Dabab?
Yes.
Norwegians. Now tomorrow I'm filing another case. He orchestrated the abduction, and I'm writing to the DCI to investigate him.
Okay. And
then, if you look at all those points of corruption in the court itself, 9 judges agreed with me. So they said the judge should step aside.
Is that perhaps what precipitated what we have seen, the extension by the court for the case next year in June?
The Kenya team would have not got that extension without these problems. Because when you look at the problems, the judge is retiring around February. The best thing to do is to push this case in June when he's gone. But when Matsanga, I am on them every day. Last week, I was in London, they interviewed me. And I told them the truth that I have even a tape where that judge drives every day, every weekend to Brussels. So if the judge wants me to display this tune to the world, I'll play it.
So what do you plan to do with this?
What he does there is very bad. I don't want to tell you.
These are serious allegations that you're making.
It's not serious. Yes. They're in the court, in black and white. If you want a copy, I can give it to you on WhatsApp.
Okay. Between now and June next year,
Yes.
what options does Kenya have in terms of trying to prepare for this particular case? Because it is already a matter in court.
Open activism. Let's tell the world the truth about security. If you rule through this ICJ, there will be insecurity in the Indian Ocean. I am on those points, and I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to listen. I'm not employed by the Kenya government or Minister Attorney General or Solicitor General. No, I am on my own. As a Pan-African Forum, we have the capability to challenge. We have the lawyers. We have other, people who are free. They don't ask for money. We have not ever asked money from Kenya government for what we are doing. We are presenting a case because we see this as a danger. I see it as a danger to my Ugandan troops. We have 14,000 troops in Somalia and in Mogadishu sitting. Once you make a ruling, Somali nationalism is going to turn on my people.
Yes.
They will die. We have people in Kismayo. If you make a ruling, they will be killed. So people are not seeing this. There is no need of carrying suitcases, briefcases every day to go there to do what? This is not a criminal court, and I'm at that point. It's not a criminal court.
It's not a criminal court. David, someone listening to you now would want to ask, what is your interest in this particular case?
I'm an African, a frank, proud African, very proud. And I stand for Africa. That's why I stood for Mugabe. You saw that? Sanctions, I removed them in Europe. That's why I went for the ICC. Uhuru and Ruto and the rest 6 would not be talking today here. Because people feared to talk to Ocampo. I did not fear. I told you Ocampo was a thief. And finally I caught him, a gambler. He gambled for $17 million of Bashir. He was paid $17 million to indict Bashir. I put the case there. Didn't we catch Ocampo? We caught him. He agreed he's a gambler. He gambled money. So he can't get a job anywhere in the world, even to be a grave digger. They can't give him. We finished him. So look, I don't go in for these small, smaller things in Africa. No, I go for heavy things that touch Africa.
Okay, you've talked about the case with the ICJ, and Kenya has been uncomfortable with the ICJ. Is it mainly because of the judge that you're talking about, or it's the court itself that we are not?
There is African Union. The constitutive act of African Union is very clear. Why do you go that way? We are looking for borderless Africa. Why are you talking about a border? I want to ask Faramijo, that president there, that American president who is ruling Somalis. He lied to Somali that he should have declared his passport. Why do you elect a foreigner? Why do you elect a foreigner to be your president? He should have declared that he's an American. The prime minister is a Norwegian. Why is he harassing us? He has sold these oil blocks to Norway when he was in exile in Norway. It is like me, Matsanga, selling Uganda to British. Because I've stayed in exile in Britain for 34 years, I sell Uganda to Britain. It is a lie. So these guys, the prime minister, I'm on them. And let me tell you, I'm not giving up. The Attorney General can keep quiet. Dr. Monica Juma can keep quiet because they are diplomats. I am not a diplomat. I am an activist who defends Africa. You touch Africa, we go down. And that is my position.
That is your position. All right. The AU, how can it come into this, given where we are at this point?
Which AU?
The African Union that you're saying that we need to go through the AU and not...
My sister.
Yes.
AU is captured. What are you talking about? There's no AU there. As long as you have Faki Mosi Faki, that guy there. Listen, he recently terminated a woman's, contract by simple text to the what? To the woman, and they said your work has been terminated because the woman was telling the truth about the French. The French have captured African Union. They listen to our telephones. They listen to everything. I've written 4 reports, intelligence reports, not cheap material, intelligence reports with Shakespearean English. Okay. If they can write that and tell me I was wrong, they see. Put it, 4 reports, ma'am, they are on this Pan-African Forum, www.panafricanforumltd.com. Look at the reports. The African Union sells jobs for women. Women have to, you know what they do? The children are watching this for telephone.
Yes, we are live TV, yes.
What type of African Union is this that you have to have sex with the man before they give a job?
Okay, you're saying we can go to ICJ, and you're also saying we can go to AU. So who will be the arbitrator in this particular dispute?
We can come back to the AU. We shall, the 4 years are coming. This guy is remaining with 2. We shall take over African Union. Myself, Rawlings, Chisano, and the rest, and Mbeki. We are going to take over that African Union. We are going to discipline Mr. Mosi Faki very soon. I have got 2.5 signatures, million signatures from Africa. They are rotating. People are signing. They want the guy out. You know, the French have captured it. They use it. Can you explain why every French territory, my sister, has got a war? Can you tell me why DRC has a war?
You haven't answered my question. Who then can be an arbitrator? Because, like you're saying, ICJ, there are
ourselves. We can come back. Somalia can come back. Kenya can come back. Kenya can withdraw from the court and ask Somalia to withdraw to come back to the table. There are some structures in African Union that can arbitrate. We can get an international independent arbitrator to sit down. We have done that in so many conflicts. The question of Angola and Congo, the question of Abyei Peninsula.
Yes.
People, is the oil not being shared? It's being shared. Why do we go there? Somalia will live with Kenya for millions and millions of years to come. Are we going to live under tension because we went through a court, an opaque, obnoxious court that has no appeal chamber? They sit and decide, diplomats decide your fate,
yes,
and that's the end. So, yet we want a borderless Africa. Tell me, why are we going there?
So what are our options, you know, if we choose to go ahead with this particular case, and let's say we lose? What will it mean for us?
I think the time that they have given them now, Kenya should come back and put new strategies. One of the strategies is to make sure that Mogadishu accepts the discussions and goes back to the agreement that we had before in 2009 and 2012 or something like that, where it was signed by the presidents that were there. 2, we must increase international activism. Forget this legal route. This legal route, it is, Mama, you will cry tears. You will cry tears. We shall be landlocked if you go the legal route. The people there are bent. You see France left for the Somali to take over. The French president of the court left the Somali, pulled him up. And see what I mean. Have you seen the link now? So it is, there are very few judges there that can be very good to Kenya. So the best thing is we come back as African Union, using African Union institutions that are not bought yet by the French, because it is not the whole African Union bought. It is the chairperson, who is the puppet for the French on the African Union.
So in terms of the sharing, you've mentioned that we should consider sharing the resources. Do you think that is likely to happen? Is Kenya and Somalia likely to agree to that? Did
you know that someone has just sold something, hot air? Who knows there's oil there? How much oil is there? What about it if it is going somewhere else? Someone just sold this and got money. That's why I've gone to the serious fraud department in London to ask Her Majesty's serious police to find out who paid these 50 million pounds to Soma Oil and Gas Holdings in 2014. How much was paid? Which bank it was banked from? Where was it drawn from? Who received it? If it's Lord Howard, sorry, you lose your lordship. I'm not battered. I want the case is being opened and investigations are going on. They want to find out whether this money reached terrorists. You know, we might have paid these guys And the guys paid the terrorists to kill British nationals. That one, I have a case there. If that case comes out, it is going to be a good case to learn, so that people learn exactly that picking money for the oil, which is not even known whether it is there, is going to kill Africa.
So there's no feasibility study that has been done to be able to tell whether there is oil or not?
Can I shock you?
Yes, please.
The same company that did feasibility study of the Prime Minister of the current Prime Minister called Hassan Hariri is the same company that sold the oil. They contravened British law. You can't do feasibility study and then do the real contract. That's it. I quoted them. Because Howard was a former Minister of Home Affairs. He bribed the police. He told the police to get off the case. Now he's no longer in power. I've gone back and I've asked Howard to be investigated. How did they close the case when you have a feasibility study doing the contract?
Okay.
It's a violation.
It's a violation. So in your view, how do you see this ending for Kenya and Somalia?
We shall win. Anything that I touch.
We, Kenya or Somalia?
No, we Africans. Because you should stop these countries. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Kenya should now sound a warning to the United Nations Security Council that Turkey, Qatar, France are arming Somalia, are arming Mr. Faramijo to cause a war in this region. These diplomats should not only run around following the president, please. They should go and shout in this Security Council, write a letter. There is a war coming in here, a proxy war. And that war, anybody who has brain can see it.
Okay.
If you see jet fighters of the latest mechanism being given to Somalia, to do what? Turkey is training secretly 1,000 pilots. Who in Africa has 1,000 pilots? What are they going to do? They're arming to kill us. So we have got to shout.
Are we likely to see Kenya and Somalia sitting down between now and June to come up with, what you'd say is a solution that benefits both countries and ensures our security within the region?
If we remove Faramijo, yes.
That is where the solution lies.
That's one of the solutions. And I want to speak frankly. I am not I told you I'm not a diplomat. I speak frankly.
Yes.
Faramijo is a disgrace to this region. Therefore, the only thing, you remember I have 93 MPs who are my friends in Somalia. And I want to tell you frankly, I am the one who filled their forms for asylum in Britain. They are there in that parliament.
Okay.
If Faramijo does not come to table, the next cause is a vote of no confidence. I need 120.
So you'll be looking for those signatures.
It's not Kenya doing it. We are going to do it.
You'll be looking for those signatures.
No, I don't need signatures. They have already, there's a motion in parliament challenging Mr. Faramijo. You saw the reports. For me, I put you to be eaten by international community. You have seen now today, IMF said what? The 4.8 billion dollars eaten by Faramijo. So you touch me, I touch you. That is my policy, Matsanga. I'm touching Faramijo, give me 6 months. He won't be in power. And if he doesn't change his policy so that he talks to Kenya, I'm not talking on behalf of Kenya government.
Yes.
I will talk it in London, in BBC, in Sky News, anywhere. Yes. I will tell him he is not a good man. We have lived with Somalia for a long time. Why are we fighting today? We have sent troops to pacify Somalia. Surely, America, are you not ashamed? There is a point I want to make before we go.
All right, our time is up.
There is a point I want to make before we go.
Yes.
Why is it that America refused to proscribe Al-Shabaab as a terrorist group? Tell me one reason, Mr. America. Tell me, why should we not cry? We don't have anybody anywhere to cry. Matsanga has to cry for Africa.
Okay.
These guys have killed us here.
Okay.
And you don't call them terrorists? You refuse a motion in the Security Council? What interest does America and France have in this place? They are bringing a war.
Okay, thank you very much. Unfortunately, our time is up. We do appreciate you finding time to come and just shed light on some of the options that we have.
On this subject, don't bring in half-baked operators. Bring them people whom we can exchange views. Even the Somali ambassador, if he has any right to discuss it, let him come.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, David. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Of course, we have been discussing the ongoing row between Kenya and Somalia. Of course, the court has since pushed the public hearing to next year in June. Obviously, a lot of issues are going on behind the scenes as Kenya and Somalia try to find a compromise in this particular border maritime dispute. Well, I have been talking to David Matsanga, who is a political strategist and international activist, just putting into perspective some of the things that he is doing in this particular case. This is where we put a cap on perspective, but of course, sports news is up next with Daniel Wahome, so stay tuned.